Modern Warfare 4's early access beta is quickly approaching, and there's a ton of details that we finally got to know about what the rewards are going to be, some changes to the way updates are going to be handled on different systems, and also some more details about what we can expect to see in this upcoming beta and the open beta. So there's actually basically a small few days delay between the early access and the open beta. In order to get access to early access, you do have to have the game pre-ordered. I know that people who have Discord Nitro are getting early access codes, and I do believe that the developers are just kind of sending to some players, so you might get lucky and actually end up with a code. But we're going to be talking about here in today's video basically everything that you need to know for the upcoming open beta. But before we do that, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications set to all so you can stay up to date with all of the content here on the channel. And let's just dive right on into it. So the first thing to note is that Call of Duty Next, which is the live stream where we're going to learn more about what's going to be in the actual game. We're going to see some gameplay, I believe, some insights from the devs, things like that. I do believe this year is actually going to be shorter than the previous years. It's going to start at 9 a.m. Pacific time, which I believe is 12 p.m. Eastern time. Once Call of Duty Next ends, which is just a 2-hour live stream, the early access beta is going to start. And this is kind of, I guess, weekend one of the beta. So they also revealed what the minimum specs are for PC if you're going into the beta. So I'm going to go through them because I do know that a lot of people like to know this stuff. The minimum specs needed for the MW4 beta are Windows 10, AMD Ryzen 5 1600 or Intel Core i5 8400, 12 gigs of RAM, the AMD Radeon RX 470 or NVIDIA GeForce GTX 970/1060 or the Intel Arc A580, 3 gigabytes of video memory, SSD is required. They do need broadband internet connection and DirectX compatible for the sound card. Now the recommended specs here are Windows 11, AMD Ryzen 5 3600 or Intel Core i7 8700, 16 gigs of RAM, the AMD Radeon RX 6700 XT or the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3060 Ti or the Intel Arc B580. Then 8 gigabytes of video memory, and SSD is required, again broadband internet connection and DirectX compatible. The recommended drivers for NVIDIA are 610.47, AMD is 26.7.1, then Intel is 32.0.101.8861. Very long. They say also for the anti-cheat purposes, you need TPM 2.0 and secure boot in order to play Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4. If you have played previous recent Call of Duty titles, you probably already took care of this, but you can just kind of look up how to enable TPM 2.0 and secure boot. It's not that difficult. They do say though that this is just for the beta and they may change things when the game fully launches. I kind of doubt a lot's going to be changed, but I think they're just kind of saying that for liability purposes or whatever. So for shader preloading, it says here that shader preloading is going to be in the MW4 beta. So this is going to give you a head start on preparing your PC's shaders before you launch Modern Warfare 4 in order to make it so that you're waiting for less amounts of time. So if you've played any of the recent COD titles on PC, especially after an update, what you're going to find is that the shaders preload every single time. It takes forever for you to actually launch the game and get into a match. So basically what they're doing is that you can preload this so that you don't actually have to launch it and preload after you've launched. So it's done beforehand. You can also disable this though if you don't want to do that. Now this is a big one here. So again, with Call of Duty, a lot of times you load the game, then it says update requires restart and then another restart, and it's just very annoying to deal with. So this year, the devs did say beforehand that they were going to be addressing this problem, and they kind of explained what they're going to be doing this time. So right now, what's going to happen is that most updates will not require this whole restart cycle, especially if it's like playlist updates or things like that. They're saying for the different systems, here are the expectations. So PC, if you're on Xbox on PC, Battle.net, and Steam, data patches will not require a restart in most situations. You may still need to restart if a data patch is released while you're running the game. For Xbox Series X and S players, data patches are going to continue to require a restart during the beta, but at launch they're planning on reducing these situations. So it might not be as bad for the actual launch of the game. For PS5, it's pretty similar to what PC does, except you may need to restart if a data patch is released while the game is running or suspended. For Nintendo Switch 2, which for the Nintendo Switch 2, they don't have access to the early access beta. It's just going to be in the open beta because pre-orders for the Switch 2 start on August 26th. You don't need to pre-order to get access to the open beta. You do need to pre-order though for the early access beta, which is why it's not available on the Switch 2. Data patches on the Switch 2 are going to continue to require a restart during the beta and at launch. Basically, they're saying it's not disappearing disappearing entirely. Like, you may launch the game and it's going to tell you update requires restart or whatever, but the point is it's much less than it's going to be in the past. So they're saying here that for Modern Warfare 4, they're changing how you install and launch the beta. The beta is going to be a separate install from the main Call of Duty experience, allowing you to download and launch it directly from your platform. Modern Warfare 4 itself is going to be within the Call of Duty platform, but the beta, you're not going to have to download it along with the whole Call of Duty launcher and all that mess. They're saying that the reason why they're keeping Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 connected with the Call of Duty launcher is for Warzone purposes, and that Warzone is going to be updated with Season 1, so you can easily switch between the titles in the same session. They say they're looking for ways to make the overall Call of Duty experience simpler and easier to navigate, that they're going to be introducing an updated UI and UX for the Call of Duty install before campaign early access begins. So for the rewards, because there are some good rewards for the open beta and for the early access beta, you can start earning them in early access, but if you don't have early access, you can earn them during the open beta weekend. So for the beta rewards, at level 4, you get the emblem. At level 8, you get a charm for your weapon. At level 12, there's a weapon sticker. At level 16, you do get a calling card. At level 20, you're going to be able to get an operator skin, which I do think looks pretty cool. At level 23, you get a spray. At level 26, you get a loading screen. And then at level 30, you get a weapon blueprint. There's also some Twitch drops as well. If you watch Call of Duty Next and you watch some streams for Modern Warfare 4's beta, you're going to get basically some extra cosmetic stuff through these Twitch drops. In terms of the actual playable content in the beta, for the early access beta, which is weekend 1 of the beta, you're going to be able to play the mission from the campaign called Entrenched. You also get the ability to play 5 core 6v6 maps and 6 core 6v6 modes, including a new mode called Inflation. You're also going to get a chance to play Kill Block and Gunfight, which Kill Block is a brand new thing here for Modern Warfare 4, where the map actually changes configuration. Basically, you're going to get a chance to try out 19 multiplayer weapons across the beta. 14 of them are going to be available in the early access, and then the rest you're going to be able to try in weekend 2 or in the open beta. Basically, you're going to be able to see what create a class is like, the gunsmith, the apex attachments, and this thing called the gunny, which basically I believe it just kind of configures the best attachment for you. I'm not exactly sure how it works just yet. And then if you are a Warzone player, or if you do like to play Warzone every now and then, Zodiac Resurgence is going to be available to try in the open beta. And we actually got a first look at what this map looks like. It seems like a pretty standard Resurgence map for Call of Duty. And also in the open beta, you're going to get a chance to try 2 maps for Ground War in the multiplayer. So the open beta is going to have more content, but the early access beta does give you that head start to level up weapons, to level up your actual level in the game and get those exclusive rewards. So in terms of matchmaking, I'm just going to touch on this super fast here, just because I know that there are some people out there that do want to know what's going on with the matchmaking. It seems like the way they're going to be doing it in the MW4 beta is you've got 2 options. You either play the open matchmaking or you play the standard matchmaking. And standard matchmaking this time is a bit different than what they say is the strict SBMM that we've had in previous Call of Duty titles. This is apparently based on what they implemented in Season 5 of Black Ops 7. Now, I haven't played Black Ops 7 at all, basically since the open beta, so I have no idea how the matchmaking has changed over time, but based off of what I've read online and what I've seen, the new matchmaking system they implemented in Season 5 of Black Ops 7 is basically just a mix between open and strict SBMM. They sort of combined things in order to, what they say is, maintain higher levels of player retention and lower quit rates and higher win rates. They say that apparently though, disbanding lobbies are still there in this standard matchmaking system because they claim that most players are leaving by the 3rd match and there's basically no one left in the lobby. Now, some people argue that it's because a lot of people get banned on voice chat. Some people say it's just not really the way it used to be. People usually, they party with their friends and they talk over on Discord or their own mics. They don't really use the in-game chat. Personally, I don't see a lot of people use in-game chat. I don't really use in-game chat that much either. So I don't know. Let me know in the comments below what your experience is on this point. So basically, it's not SBMM purely and it's not open purely, but during the beta, you will be able to play open matchmaking Matchmaking, and I believe they said that it's so that they can gather more data and come to a decision on what MW4's launch is actually gonna be like. So whatever you prefer, play it, I guess kind of show the devs what you like. But anyways, that's really all of the huge information I kind of wanted to cover in this video before that open beta so that you know exactly what it is that you're going to be getting into. Be sure to leave a comment below what you think about the content in Modern Warfare 4. I do see a lot of positive sentiment and a lot of negative sentiment, and then a lot of people that are just kind of in the middle. They're going to play it, but they don't particularly have an opinion, that sort of thing. Let me know in the comments below how you're feeling about Modern Warfare 4. Be sure to leave a like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications set to all so you can stay up to date with all of the content here on the channel. And that's all for today, folks.